Whoa. Okay, there we go. Welcome back to another VRSpies podcast. What an epic intro that we have. We need to shorten that one up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we probably need to do some edits at this point. So
Yeah, we just like that nice pause to get everybody into the cast. Anyways, how's it going, guys? What's good? We got VR Gamer Dude. Pretty neat VR.
Pretty good.
This way.
Hello.
Hello. Howdy.
All right. So, what do we have to talk about today, guys? It's been kind of a slow week, somewhat. A lot of things going on in our personal lives. So, in the VR world, though, we've had some interesting things happen.
Vive Cosmos.
Vive Cosmos launched. Yeah. No, there was that. You guys know I got an early unit, and it was kind of a love-hate relationship. I mean, I loved the fact that I got to get it early and hold it and look at it for a couple of days while HTC sorted out some bad software issues. Apparently they're afraid of the dark. I thought that was funny how they kind of poked fun at their
marketing team playing some jokes.
Yeah, I thought that was actually great, actually. So, because what I did run into the dreaded pre-launch and launch day light issues, and I don't know, guys, you can see behind me, it's usually pretty brightly lit here in the studio.
Yeah.
So, but after a couple of days and I furious exchange of emails back and forth with the HTC engineers and the marketing team, we finally got it up and running. And you've seen my review, or at least I hope you have. I don't know.
Yeah, it was rough start.
It's been a rough launch for HTC on this one, and there are some pluses to the headset. I can't completely bash it, but I'm still struggling to see where this fits into the current VR ecosystem.
Well, Don, you can take the headset and you can flip it up. I mean, come on.
Well, you can. I mean, it's
Oh my gosh.
And one thing I will say, actually, on that note, I mean, if we're just chit chatting here. So, all right, let's talk about the Vive Cosmos. A couple of things that I didn't show in my review.
Let's talk. Let's do it.
So all right. I'm gonna break it down for you. So I started messing around with it. I wanted to see how the face interface popped off and stuff like that for the modules. And one of the things that I noted in the review, and you guys might be able to hear it, is this clicky sound right here, and it's because they used such a very thin, super thin plastic shell, most likely to keep the weight down. It just and it doesn't click in anywhere on the sides.
Oh, really? So it comes off really easy.
So as you move it on your face, you hear it kind of popping and rubbing.
Feels cheap, probably.
And it does. It feels
not
really
worried.
cheap. So
we have VR cover that always has our back.
No, and that's exactly where I was getting. I was literally taking VR covers Quest interface, and I was trying to see if I could mod it and mate it in here. But one thing I did notice, and I thought was really cool, is that everything is disconnectable, including the audio here on the strap. So it is almost like having an upgraded version of the Vive Deluxe audio strap, but in a Halo style. And I started looking at that screw right there on that hinge, and I'm thinking, how could I get that strap off and put it on this thing? So I don't know. It's like I'm already planning
trying to mob headset already. Okay, into that. There's the whole software aspects of the headset, itself, as opposed to what you said at the beginning, kind of like the we're afraid of the dark. It's because as many people may not know, it's that the headset wasn't actually being usable in most environments because it was saying it was either too bright or too dark. So how did you find your way around that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, like I said, through updates with the HTC engineers. I mean, they were working furiously, guys. I mean,
that was prior release, though, right? When you
that was prior release, and I have not had that issue since. They have finally dialed that back. It was their light detection. I mean, basically, their light detection was screwed up. I even took it the night before release. I took it. You guys know I do a little show over on Wednesday nights sometimes at Splitverse. Shameless plug over there. And we took it into his studios, which are way more professionally lit and evenly lit. And And there we actually had the opposite. So we had it yelling at us that we had too much light in the room. And
really,
and then as you see behind me, and you guys know, I mean, I've been building out some like green screen area. Well, another thing, and it was really well highlighted in my friend our friend Kaz and Cherry's video. They had to actually put markers on their green screens because the Cosmos was having problems tracking in that solid color, nothing, featured on the wall.
So it's like a set exposure or something. Like it'd be.
Well, and
I wonder if it worked better if
they do say that you have to have features.
Oh, okay. You have a pass through when you're looking at the Cosmos. Is there like a pass through similar to the S or the Quest?
You do. Well, and I'm glad you actually brought that up. So that is one of the cooler features of this one is the pass through system. So their pass through is just like the S and now the Quest, which is stereo correct. But theirs is in color. So it's weird, and you can actually choose. So you can either choose the Tron outline like we had with the original Vive. You can choose a mix of black and white and the Tron outline, or you can have the full color. Now the full color is kind of blurry, unless you're really close up or in a really bright area. That pass through is kind of blurry on it. But it's kind of cool to see it in color. And just like the Rift S, you can just tap on the very similarly placed button. Just gotta point that out, that these are complete ripoffs of the touch controllers, but way heavier. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, so excuse me. So yeah, sorry. It's just cold, raining. I'm all over the place. So,
well, I guess when you're talking about the different things about the Cosmos, as far as the being in color, I mean, one thing I know with the Quest as well as with the Rift S, when I go outside, if I go into pass through, like especially when I was doing my videos out at the beach and stuff, I could actually check out pass through and I could look instantly, very quickly outside to see if it was too bright. Because if pass through is literally too bright to see anything, that it's too bright outside to be tracked. So because the cameras aren't seeing anything, it's too overexposed. So I could very easily see if it was dusk enough or there's enough shade, just by simply putting the headset on, checking pass through, and if I could see through it just fine, then I knew the controllers could be tracked as well. So and that's kind of how I would play that. But with the Cosmos, I mean, that's if you're out there and you're looking in an environment and you can actually go through pass through and you can see your hands, you can see your controllers, I guess, there shouldn't be a problem with the headset itself tracking them as long as the cameras can see them, is what I would assume.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm wondering if one part of that is also, and I'll get into the tracking now. So the biggest thing, so after the software updates, and there have been many, every time I plug it in, because I'm still checking daily, it's just so close to launch. Every time I plug it in, it's got another firmware update. It's got another software update. So they're working on it. It has gotten a lot better, but I think it's almost like it's a recognition tracking, like it's recognizing the pattern on the controllers versus like the IR blink that you get with the touch controllers. So one thing I've noticed about that is it's almost got a swimminess to it. It's getting better. It's more accurate, but it never seems to really, in my brain, be 100% one-to-one tracking on the controllers. Headset, I'm not really seeing too much problems with the tracking or the accuracy of, and that kind of goes even back to Windows Mixed Reality or any of the earlier even two-camera, inside-out solutions. Is that the headset always seems to track the world fine. It's how the headset tracks the controllers. So the controller tracking is where I'm really feeling the sluggishness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense. I mean,
the refresh is like not quick enough to.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, I'm interested to try that one out myself. I want to mention a little bit about that, but quickly, I want to say hi to Sponge 720. What's up, brother? We got some people in chat. Dennis Richards,
Dennis Richards, and German
Rifter. Yeah. We need to talk about a new intro, brother.
Bradley,
because that one's a little long. Yeah. Sadly, it's Bradley. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, we have a lot of people in the VR community that are definitely going to have to stop by and jump in here and talk with us a little bit here over the next few weeks. We've been lucky enough to have, we had E- just, I guess, last week, and then 2 weeks before that it was sadly it's Bradley. So yeah, very cool having you guys both on, and can't wait to have more of you guys here in the next few weeks. And reach out to us. We do need to get back in the Discord. We haven't done much VRSpies Discord stuff lately, but I think we should do some key giveaways there, because that's probably one of the best places to do that. Because
I got some building up.
So yeah, we'll talk more about that. There is a link for the VRSpies Discord here in the chat or underneath in the description. So check that out. But yeah, talking back about the Cosmos, because I don't want to finish without actually kind of wrapping up at least the different things that we feel about it. I myself have a review unit, but it's stuck in Florida, and I guess now it's being sent to Brazil. But if you know anything about Brazilian customs, I probably will never see it, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Most things that look expensive don't end up where they're supposed to go here, so at least not without some negotiations. So we'll see how long that takes.
Negotiations.
But, put it in another box. It's like junk. Just
they got these little scanner systems. They're real sophisticated X-ray things, man. It can be real. So it doesn't matter how simple you think you might be. The pictures don't lie. The futuristic
headset, apart, then. They want to know what the heck that is.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. As Don said, that you can actually take the Cosmos apart. You said you mentioned there's like a screw part in there. I mean, the one thing about the S is that you can obviously just pull it apart without having to use any tools whatsoever.
Oh yeah, no, you cannot. And that's it. Does look like it would have to actually. There would be some like micro screws that you'd have to pull out here.
Do the headphones actually pop off real easy then too?
They do. Yeah, I wouldn't say really easy. I haven't attempted it yet. They're on there pretty solid, but they
have
are
headphones
removable.
though.
But it does have headphones, and I'm gonna tell you, they're the same as the deluxe audio strap. So if you like the sound that comes from the deluxe audio strap for the Vive, you're gonna love these, and they're the same feel. They're very sturdy. Overall, I really do like this Halo design. I mean, it is very well constructed. The construction of the headset itself, I have no issues with. I mean, I think it looks cool. I love the metallic blue. I can actually show you here. There we go. The modularity of the faceplate coming off is also pretty cool. So now I just lost two of the cameras, but that exposes you to be able to add the upcoming faceplate that's going to allow it to work with the existing lighthouse tracking. So you can get your ultra precise outside in tracking back as well. So I
will
think
it track the controllers then too? The base stations?
At that point, no, you would still have to use
those control cameras.
No, you would have to use because
OG Vive.
Yeah, you'd have to use OG Vive controllers or index controllers because because you cannot mix the tracking systems. So you cannot have outside in and inside out at the same time.
I wonder if when that modularity comes out for that, if you'll be able to buy just the headset without those controllers that you have.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
think?
One thing I will say, since you're mentioning the controllers, I do think it's awesome that we finally are starting to see parity. Gone are going to be the days that the Vive wands and the touch controllers don't have a parity to them. So, I mean, at least we have now commonality in the button placements. Obviously, you have some extra buttons, like shoulder buttons up here, but it is nice to see that. And I'm all for that standardization. That way, when I pick up one headset and its set of controllers, I'm instantly comfortable with it.
Objectively agreeing on like a standard for a controller at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
You're saying that the Vive wands won?
I'm saying that the Vive ones suck. The Vive ones are the worst controllers I've ever put in my hands ever in the history.
Hey man, I'm agreeing with you. The touch controllers were a dream come true when I first got to play with them. I remember back when the development kits came out and I was playing with them, and I was just so excited, not only because they worked, but the previous thing that I had before that was the Hydra controllers. and the magnetic frequencies would always get screwed up. Not only that, but
that was your Hydra controllers were my first steps into having hands in VR.
And it was a big deal.
That day. That was a big deal. That was a huge deal, you know. And I mean, you know, just kind of waxing nostalgic because that's my job on the podcast is the old dude. Yeah. No. I mean, you know, we've got all this emphasis right now because out of OC6 with the hand tracking coming to the Quest and everything, and you know, it's making me kind of nostalgic for Leap Motion. I mean, you know, back in the day, I loved playing with those Leap Motion demos.
That was good. That was really good for the time, really. Like,
especially
2013, 2014. Like, that was pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it right there. I've still got my mount, dude, that you printed me. Yeah.
But I gave you a blue one too, I think, right?
Yeah, it was blue. Yeah, people used to ask me on my videos all the time, "What's that blue thing on the front of your Rift?" Because I would
motion mount, yo.
Yeah. How'd you get a blue? Oh, is that one's 3D printed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, the Leap Motion is one thing. Most people, it's funny, is like as you're talking about though, Don, is that we used that back in the day, playing with blocks and doing a lot of those fun little games and yeah, right. But people don't realize that technology has like not only been around, but they use it at the Void when they're you're doing most of the Void experiences.
Big time.
And now we're like, oh, the Quest can use your hands, which is exciting, very exciting. But it's not new, guys. VR hand tracking has been around.
We've been doing it for years. I mean, we blew people's minds at the Springfield meetup that we did.
Well, I mean, the HDK 2, it was supposed to have like a Leap Motion attachment that I don't think ever came. At least
now here's what's cool though is that on the Pimax front, they are about to release their Ultra Leap.
Pimax one?
Yes. No. So like when Pimax did their Pimax Day a couple of weeks ago, they finally talked about the hand tracking module, which the Pimax is designed with a USB-C port in the bottom and some screw holes here for it to actually have bolt-on attachments. And one of the attachments for the Kickstarter was a Leap Motion hand tracking. Well, now that's obviously Ultra Leap because Ultra Haptics and Leap have combined. But yeah, they're going to have that out probably, I think, in December. And it one thing that it does that the original Leap Motion failed on miserably, and we all remember that, is that because of the wide field of view of the headset, they needed a wide field of view of hand tracking. So
otherwise your hand's going to snap.
It's got like, the cameras are like down on the bottom and angled just right to where you actually have a decent, you should be able to track your hands in the full field of view of the headset, which is 170 degrees. So that will be interesting.
If it works the way that it was working, even
if it works,
it's a Leap, just a few years ago.
Yeah. It'd be fantastic. The Orion, blocks and Orion and So more to come on that. I'm excited to see hand tracking coming back into focus because
I don't remember, Billy, did you have
hands?
Yeah, I bought one pretty early on because of you. I think your Mazer Quest and all that.
Yeah,
but I bought one. They had a mount. I didn't have a 3D printer then. I just had to buy the whole kit on their site. I think it was like $70 or $80, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually won one. I won it from the guys who ended up becoming RiftCat. They had a little contest. Like I wrote a little essay, and it ended up on their site. And they said,
"What would you do if you were in VR?"
Yeah, no, it's like what does VR mean to you, or something like that. It's probably still on their site if you go look for
nice
little blurb. I won a Leap Motion. So anyway,
right,
nice, dude.
Well, hello to Greg's VR. Of course, Eric Hartley popping up and FX Node. I hope we said hi to Mark Ledson. I don't know if we. I think we
did. Hey, so it looks like I missed a question from German Rifter here on the mic quality of the Cosmos. No, German, it did not improve, man. It is exactly, if you watch my review video, I purposely left that section where I'm in the headset in there so people could see it is really bad.
So is it like the same quality as like the original Vive?
The original Vive, yeah. So the two things that I do not see changed in any way, shape, or form from the original Vive to the Cosmos.
FOV for one.
Well, and that's part of it because of the optic. They did not change the optics, so we've still got those same Fresnel lenses that you had with the big, huge concentric rings that
just kind
by
of
the light you see the rings, and the FOV is the same, and then the mic is the same. So, those are the things to me that I just don't think that HTC iterated on in any way, shape, or form.
Man, that's so weird.
Vive to the Cosmos, and it is, and I really want to
FOV is so important, man.
To me, it is. I mean,
and me too.
I mean, the bigger the better. I got a chance to play on the Index every time I go out to the Split First studios on Wednesday nights. That's primarily what they're doing. They've put their Vive Pros on the shelf. I mean, they're using the Index because it's got a little bit larger field of view. It's got great tracking. It's got the good audio. It's got the good controllers. So right now it's like, if you are really going to put out any headset, and that's once again going back to I got to find a way to figure out where this fits into the market segment. It's got to have something increased, and FOV is one of those that I think if they would have changed their optics design, they could have actually done that. So
I'm excited to try it out myself and see if I think there's
now plus it does have dual screens and an IPD slider. Just saying. I mean,
right.
So
there is that part. Something I like.
That is huge.
One nice thing about the Rift S, I gotta say, is that it does actually have more pronounced, like the Fresnel type, where you have the circle within the circle within the circle style when you look at it from the outside. But when I actually put the headset on, I don't.
You don't see it. Yeah, it's so fine.
When you're on the Vive, you see it, like when you're looking at
let me see, because I can flip it if I can actually get you right. So there we go. Look, and you'll probably let's see if I can.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, let's see if I can angle it.
Well, not now.
It's the same. It's the same as the original Vive. Now, one thing that got brought up on my video, and it is something that's interesting, and maybe people who are more hackery than me or know a little bit more about the modding scene, somebody asked me immediately, since it is the same optics, and he even measured
swapping gear.
The Gear VR lens swap. What would that look like with a Cosmos? And that's got me intrigued, because I've always wanted to do that. VR Trooper back there's got the original Vive on it, and now I don't see any reason why I couldn't experiment with it. And so I don't know. I'm thinking about ordering up that 3D printed mod with the lenses in it. But the thing is with that mod with the original Vive, you had to modify some code in Steam VR. Well, since this uses the Vive version of Steam VR, because it is, as from what I can tell, just like the Pimax has their own kind of separate offshoot of Steam VR that's a little more restrictive. This one does as well. Everything is linked into Viveport. So, when you hit the button and you think you're going to be bringing up the Steam VR menu, it kind of gets a little frustrating because all you get is lens. So you have to go in and manually close Viveport, and then you got to start Steam VR, and So I don't know. It's it's got its little frustrating points like that. So
it's going to be a different beast right away. What I'm on to do is like most things is I genuinely want to think about it from like a perspective of business consultation, LBEs. Like, what are these headsets going to be doing in an industrial market as far as for training, or is it something like they've got the Vive Focus, which is actually bought a lot by businesses. They've got people hardcore using them for kiosk mode, and
I got a chance to try one of those as well about 3 months ago, and not a bad headset, but Quest was way better.
No, I mean, the fact is like we had not the Pimax, but what was that other brand that the Pico Neo?
Oh, right? The Pico Neo. Yeah, Pico Neo.
It was the first headset that did what the Focus did in just the same way almost. I mean, the only difference is I think it had a little bit lower latency when it came to actually the room tracking, but it still worked perfectly. I could still run full speed and it still tracked my area, which was a good thing about it. But the Focus obviously does have that, use for business, for industrial training. And people have been using it for such thing in certain industries in the last year. I've seen it. And even just recently on LinkedIn, there was people posting these large areas where they had not only the headsets themselves, but the cleaning devices that, every headset went into that had the sanitization and whatnot, that made it just really applicable to use for many different people and made it like an actual useful tool. As you even saw at OC6, there was people talking about how training with VR obviously can help surgeons and people. We've known for a long time architecture and the businesses where you can actually create prototypes and then see them, whether it be for car. Anything like that is going to be a huge benefit.
Law enforcement training. I just saw a thing on Facebook.
Journalism.
Facebook yesterday, there was a thing about learning how to fire people. So you sit across the desk from a guy in VR and you have to fire him. It's like management training.
It's called an email.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a text message these days, or a tweet. Right. Yeah, depending on which level you're in. So, but no, let's see here. We do have a couple more questions here. Yeah, I think he's talking about with the Gear VR lens mod though, because that was one of the things that, and like I said, you have to actually do some modding to the software, and I don't know if that's going to be doable at this point on the Vive, but I'm not really into that scene. So if you guys know how to do it, that would be awesome. Tell me, and I will totally mod this thing and make a video out of how I did it. So just saying. Because I don't know, that's the one thing I was really hoping. Because here, back to it for a minute, it has a really high resolution screen. I mean, it's I think 2880 by 1700.
Yeah, slightly more than the Vive Pro, I think.
Slightly more, just like nudging across from the Vive Pro, and so I was really hoping for a much sharper, crisper image, SDE free, because I'm really starting to get spoiled. Like I had the SDE free experience with the Odyssey Plus, and then the Pimax is very minimal. I mean, I have to strain to see the SDE. This one, is because of the same optics, I still saw it. So I don't know. I'm going to quit harping on it. I do still. There are positives. There are things that I can learn to love about this headset, but it's just, I don't know. For the time being, they've until they get their software kind of final word on it, they've just got to get their software up.
And I think that's going to be a big part. Waiting at least
the price down. They got to get the price down.
Check out the actual quality of it. I do want to mention I like the VR esports. I'm going to talk about Echo Arena here in a moment, but I heard some people talking about how moving their head back and forth, it wasn't a headset that was very tight. So although it's comfortable and it is easy to flip up, it doesn't really tighten your head.
I got a solution for that. Literally, this goes back to the Odyssey Plus.
Rubber band around your head and you tighten it.
Not really. All you got to do is just put your little Velcro strip here and a little Velcro strip here. And then you just run a little piece of Velcro between them, and then that causes it to cinch tighter to your base. And then that'll help with that. The Odyssey Plus was quite possibly the worst culprit for that. I mean,
I remember that when I tried it at your place.
Right, Billy. Remember, you got to put it down.
Always trying to adjust it.
Yeah, you want to put it down low, but it wants you to wear it up high like a crown, and it doesn't feel right. Well, this one is similar. So if you wear it up here where the circle is right here at the back of your occipital instead of underneath it, the way that you would wear like a Rift, then it does fit to your face. And I think that's the way that they intended you to wear it, but it's just not comfortable that way. You pull it down and then it pulls that mask just slightly away and at an angle from your face. And you got to find a way, but that there's no way to ratchet it down. So so just pulling it back with a little bit of Velcro, that is a cheap, easy fix that I remember from the Odyssey Plus, and that should solve it. Getting a VR cover, like we were talking about, once VR cover gets a nicer facial interface in there, because you've got to know those guys are probably already working on that problem.
Of course. And they're usually trying to get those headsets as soon as we're trying to get those headsets to make reviews so that they can make the products.
And like I said, I don't want to be completely negative, and I always do like to leave things with a little bit of a positive spin. Hell, a guy sent me a message saying I was being used as an example in a Reddit argument as one of the only reviewers that gave it a good review. And I kind of told people don't buy it at this point, but I'm not going to be completely negative because I do still see positives in this headset. I mean, I do like the look and feel of it. I think it can get better. So
here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plan. I'm going to make a video for myself, but I'm also going to do like a video from Arvory. And my plan with that is to actually have everybody at the studio give it a go. They have, practice with all the headsets. They've practiced.
Yeah, that would be awesome to get there.
So, yeah, I want to hear what 25 different people that have had VR experience, what they think about the headset, and just get their 2 cents. And I'll let them publish that, and that'll be kind of their video on their channel. So it'll be kind of a nice way to give people reasons to check that out, and at the same time, hopefully gives people some good information about it. But also another thing is the LBEs that we have. They've got some. I wouldn't say dark areas because it's not dark, but we've got it lit up with some blue lights and some purplish lights, and it's certainly not bright in those areas. So definitely want to take the headset into those environments and see if they work, because if they do, then that means that we can actually use those headset in potentially new locations that we're opening, and that price tag, the clarity is there. If the ease of use and the headsets work really easy to put on people, and it just works hand in hand.
I could see for LBEs with this style, it is much easier to get on and get off, get on, get off. Yeah. And easier to adjust quickly. So, and HTC has focused on that commercial market. I mean, they really have built out that commercial LBE market. I mean, when you go into any arcade, you see a lot of Vive in there. So,
well, and here's even one thing too, is that Vive is willing to ship things to Brazil, whereas Oculus doesn't ship anything to Brazil. So
that is true. That is true.
I mean, the stuff isn't sold here in the stores by any means, but they do still ship here, so that's a big difference. But yeah, no, I mean, the Cosmos is something that I think people are going to be waiting to hear more and more and more about in the next few weeks, especially if they're going to be trying to spend their own money on it at the price tag that it is. I do want to talk about some other upcoming games, because we do know about a few upcoming games. We've played a few at the previous conferences and whatnot, and of course, I'm looking forward to several. So I want to know what you guys are looking forward to in general. One thing I'm definitely, let's say it, we can start with this. I'm definitely really excited about Echo Arena's update and port to Quest. I feel like it's going to allow a whole new audience to jump in there. Plus, it's going to be able to be played the proper way, which is without the wires, with the freedom, the ability to punch all your windows.
Okay, this is going to be where you're going to be like, seriously, dude, I still have not played that game.
Oh, man, seriously, dude.
And no, but that's okay, because I have a tendency to wait for things, and now it's going to be so cool to have my first experience playing that, running around in the full size of my backyard at the right time of the day with my Quest. I'm just saying that's going to be, Well, of course, it's going to be the questing hour, So
questing hour, nice.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm very excited to have that experience, because I loved Lone Echo. I mean, I love the story-driven part of it, and
the freedom of being able to push off the virtual environments and grab onto places and throw yourself off, and then when you're doing that in VR, I mean, like in the competition style, it's just hectic. You're just going all over.
I was always afraid I was going to punch my TV or punch my wall or break a window. Or
I broke so many windows, and I
cracked one at my apartment actually, and they didn't notice it when I moved out, so I was pretty happy about that.
Nice.
Wasn't playing Echo Arena though. I can't remember what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I left the blind like halfway down over that window, and just cleaned it so well. It's like, don't open the blind.
Just leave it down. For years, I've only ever punched a ceiling fan light, and that was it. I broke a globe on a ceiling fan.
Nice.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I instantly took the ceiling fan out of the place in that room, because there was one there, and I was like,
I gotta take mine out. It's pretty low.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I gotta take a pretty good size room.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well, I have high ceilings, but I can still, like, if I was to swing my arm, I would definitely hit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, that's why you're supposed to always stand in your Omni. Okay.
Yeah. Shoot.
Sit in that thing, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. So it's
what else are you guys excited for? I mean, we got Echo coming to the Quest. We got
obviously Asgard's Wrath's coming soon, which I know there's like certain people that have access that can't talk about it. But guess what? I can talk about it because I don't have access.
Medal of Honor. I'm excited for
I all I can say is
what is it? What do you want to say?
I want to say so much. Oh my god, I want to say so much.
Yeah, he wants to say so much.
Just look for it on launch day because
I'm super excited about it. From what I've been hearing, I'm super excited. I don't have any.
I'm not. Look, we'll do it silently.
You can't talk. I can talk. You can't talk. I can talk. The game sounds super, super sweet, guys. There's lots and lots of hours of gameplay. Apparently it's pretty deep.
Eric just put something into my head, and oh man, Pistol Whip. I got a chance to play that out at Splitverse.
To be honest,
the Beat Saber shooting kind of game.
Yes, it is but I'm telling you, there is something magical about that game that makes you feel like a complete badass. It is. It's like Super Hot and Beat Saber had a baby with like a kick-ass soundtrack and like I don't know. They put me in it. We actually I got to play it in the index and oh wow, it was so Pistol Whip. Very excited for that.
Oh yes, that's what I heard the most of at OC6. It was basically like, okay, besides the games that Oculus was trying to show off, the people that got to play behind doors, the Pixel Rip 1995 and Pistol Rip.
I'm very excited for Pixel Rip 1995 too.
Me too. I can't wait to play it myself.
I would love to see that game eventually.
Okay, that enough deep stare there.
Yeah, it was good. It was good deep stare.
So Asgard's Wrath 2. Eric says Borderlands 2 on VR.
Oh yeah.
If it was multiplayer, I think I'd be
excited about it somewhat. I
don't
lo-fi right away. But Stormland, I'm pretty excited about Stormland. Stormland multiplayer.
I am.
I think Stormland's gonna be a lot of fun. I've been actually waiting to kind of jump back into VR, like video creation again. I've finally in a somewhat of a stable situation where I can do that, right? And I'm going to finish up some other videos that I mentioned before, Japan, China, and country dropping names, name dropping countries. Okay, so as soon as I finish those things, I want to do Asgard's Wrath and Stormland. I think that those would be really fun games to kind of do a series of. We're going to do that, but I don't care. I'm excited to play them. Really excited.
Just because it's top of mind because it premieres tonight, and I'm still a huge fan, even though it's been going on forever. The Walking Dead games. Also very excited. Yes, Telltale. Yes, the Walking Dead VR. I'm really kind of getting amped up to see that. So.
Medal of Honor was the only one recently where I've been like, I saw the. Did you guys see that? Their like announcement trailer or whatever.
I did.
Yeah, dude, it looks so freaking sick. I know a lot of it was probably scripted,
People in the studio were talking about that, and they're like, no, they throw grenades a lot, and you can catch them, but like, how many times in war do you think that actually happened? Where the guy was like, let's grab it. Like, no, come on.
No. Mr. Robot also produced tonight. Awesome.
Would blow you up. It would blow you up, guys.
Yeah, it does look fun, though. I am pretty pumped for that.
Iron Man VR is going to be a big deal because, anytime you get the Marvel games going, it's a huge deal, especially when you get
Iron
Man character. Iron Man, exactly. Like the fact that you can use your hands, I think it's going to be some Echo Arena stylish fly mechanism or something.
I hope so. I think that'll be awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun. It's going to bring a lot of younger people into VR. A lot of people who are already into VR are just going to be able to have some fun and jump into favorite character, right?
God, just if they had like some sort of super high end voice control with that, where you could actually like I'm dreaming. I don't know.
Good. Yep. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. So nope.
One thing is that there's a lot of the AAA games that are going into the focus of a lot of the big companies right now. Obviously, I think Oculus has been really keen to develop that relationship with those people. I'm not really sure if HTC Vive is doing that with games specifically. I haven't seen anything like that. Steam is
really
directed with Boneworks a lot, which is a very hyped up company. People that made
I'll tell you what HTC is putting their basket, all their eggs in the basket of, and that's the Viveport Infinity service. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate on that. I'm a big believer in all of these subscription things. Like I've got the Xbox Game Pass for the kids, and I think that's great because they can just go in there and play whatever the hell they want. We watch everything through Netflix, and that's one of the things that I will say is a complete win. And I'm going to give props to HTC in an upcoming video that I'm doing on Viveport, is that they included that in the box with the Cosmos. So if you pre-ordered a Cosmos, you get 1 year of Viveport Infinity. If you just bought a Cosmos after launch day, you get 6 months. So why that I think is cool is think about when we were all new users and how much money you were outputting out of your wallet just because you wanted to hop and try different types of experience. Oh, I want to try a flying game. I want to try a driving game. I want to see what this is like. To be able to pay that monthly fee or like $100 for a whole year and then have access to over 200 experiences in a ecosystem that's growing right now, that's gold. For new users to have that out of box experience like that. So
I agree with you. At the same time, I have a somewhat of an alternate perspective. That's
you have to spend another $500.
I think the problem there is that I think most people that are developers, you have an option to put yourself out on Steam, on Oculus Store. You've also got a choice of the Viveport.
No, I agree.
And then you've got choices of the different services to be used within those stores. Definitely developers make more money when their games are just bought upright, whether they're on sale or whether they're not on sale. When they're even
similar to Spotify music.
Yeah, they're going to make more than they're going to get off of these services that are just giving them the monthly. So I think that it's great that it exists, but by itself, could it exist? No, I think it only exists if we have these other stores continuing to help support the developers as well. And I could be wrong. That's just the way I see it from the perspective that I have right now. Because
and I completely agree with you, Caleb. We've got to do everything we can to support development. And what I was saying is I just think it's awesome that HTC includes it with the headset.
Right.
That I'm not saying that way you have things to do day one. That was my whole point in that.
No, and you're completely right. I think that it's like an interesting position to be in because it's like, well, wait, do we want more access or less money to people, or is it just something that we continue to keep
mass audience first?
Yeah, it's
right.
I like options, and I also, as a user and consumer, I also want these cheaper options and choices to be able to tell people. Because if I want my friends and family to get into it, I want to be able to tell them, hey, you can do this, and exactly like you said, have a bunch of games available without having to spend hundreds of more dollars. And especially if you do really like a game, you can, of course, then buy the game. Viveport does allow you to do that. So you do.
Yeah, they do. Because if you cancel, like say you're doing that monthly subscription, you don't get to keep access to those games.
Right.
If you really like a game, then you buy it. Throw it in your library. Same with movies. You should be able to rent a movie and watch a movie and rent it and watch it and rent it and watch it. And if you really want that movie to be in your collection, then you buy it and it's in your collection. And then you're not allowed to eat your friends because it's not really yours.
Man.
Something we all follow the rules of the movies.
Yep.
None of us deserve to have the FBI talking to him.
No FBI. No.
I've ever stolen movies. Ever. Okay. Same with games. We talk a little bit about that. Some games that are able to not go to Quest and side Quest. People have been talking a lot about the Beat Saber mods and side Quest in general in the Reddit forums. I think that's an interesting place to go because there are a lot of games that want to go out,
it is
a way for them to do it. So then when these side stores pop up to give people this alternate availability, then they go against the terms and conditions of the hardware. Like, what kind of world do we live in where we can have hardware that can't access the digital stuff that we want to actually put on it when there's not a place for it, whether it be even a game or, of course, there's the adult content that people are always fighting for. So what do you guys think about those?
I don't know. When I heard the news, so like I have to actually point counterpoint here. Take Facebook's side on this one just because of the copyright issues. So,
We're talking about
or at least with the beat on. Yeah, with the beat on. I mean, because technically when you're downloading those mods, you are downloading, music. And if you're not paying for that music, you are violating copyright, which then in turn, Facebook and Oculus allowing that on their system kind of opens up liability for them, I guess. I don't know. But I can see where they can do that. Where I don't want to see is them coming after SideQuest. I mean, there is legitimate reason for SideQuest to exist. SideQuest was actually out there originally for developers to have an easier way to port in their creations to the Quest for testing or sending to people like me. I mean, we all do this. We help developers on the side with their builds from time to time pre-release. And so if Facebook and Oculus were to lock that down, if they were to completely lock down the Quest where you can't sideload anything to it, I think that's going to be a huge fail, and that's just my opinion.
Well, here's the one thing I can say, at least because I know some people are going to be thinking it. On the developer side, there is the availability, whether it be through the S or through the Quest, to add people to your build specifically just by adding their email, and then you can.
You can do that. You can do that.
SideQuest, Oculus says, "Hey, no, we've already thought about that. We got this way for people to give you the build specifically."
But what I'm getting at is I'm trying to learn Unity, right? And I'm trying to make little apps for my Quest. Well, it's much easier for me to be able to just port that straight over to my Quest. So,
well, okay. Once again, I think Oculus gives a special key for like your Quest, so that you can, if you're a developer, you can instantly throw it on your Quest without any kind of special software. But you do have to be a registered developer in the Oculus store to have the access to do that. But it is something that I think that you're speaking to a bigger point, which is, does Oculus have to control everything I want to do when it comes to development or testing of the hardware itself? Do they have the right to do that? I mean, yeah, they made the stuff. But
they should. What we
support. Yeah, we generally support things that allow us to have some control in it. I mean, when you talk about Apple versus Android, you've got Android, you can hack and do whatever you want with it, and Apple, it's closed system, and yet they're both very successful. And Apple's thought of as kind of a more prestigious, higher class, in many cases. And I think Oculus wants to be that as well in some ways. It's Facebook owned, right? I think that they want to have certain control over everything so that they can then control the quality of it, not only for good reasons.
They wall off that garden, and they wall off the hardware access as well. How many days? I mean, you want to throw down bets of how many hours it's going to take before somebody has that thing jailbroken.
Yeah.
Because it is an Android platform, and good luck on trying to lock down an Android platform. Because I mean, the minute that some of the people out there that run in that Android hacking community get pissed off enough about it, they're going to jailbreak it. So,
big shout out to Immersive Gamer 83 here, hanging out in the audience. OG VR Spy right there. If you're not in the WhatsApp, you're always welcome to be there. That way, you can get the link for the cast and join at any time.
Yes.
So what was the deal with Beat Saber though? They locked down their being able to do
the mods.
Songs.
The mod, the Quest, and kind of like Don was saying, it was basically a piracy issue of music itself.
I gotcha. You know what they should do? They should partner with Spotify or Pandora or something.
That'd be interesting.
Then you have to link your account to it or something. So if you have the song or have an account, you can do
at this point. Then
song you want.
Thinking about the artists have to then get notified and then get paid somehow based on my games being played through Beat Saber as opposed to being played through the normal spot. There's a lot of. I think all the contracts have to be renegotiated at that point if they're going to add services like that. I could be wrong. But it's one of those things. I agree that there's things I think that they could do to make it more friendly for music that's not added to the store, because there's just no way they can add all the kinds of genres and music that everyone likes. The fact is, Beat Saber as a team, their goal is to just make every popular mod a part of the actual game, whether it be changing colors of your sabers or importing different textures and things that you want to make the game kind of look more unique in the way that you like it, whether even adding characters. But adding custom songs is something that there has to be an option to do it in a legal way, for people to play on their own home computers or on their own devices with music that they own.
Yeah.
And prove that there's got to be a way for that. And I think that that's something that we're going to see being developed, because that's just something that is legal and is possible. So we have to think about those little things and what's possible, what's legal, and what can they do. And those things are all possible. So besides that, when it comes to other games, there's a lot of games that I know want to go to Quest. I don't want to talk about specifics in the ones that I'm working with just yet, but there's games that aren't able to go to Quest. And so what do you guys think people should do that don't have an option to release on that device? Like, let's say they're developing a game specifically for mobile VR, and Oculus says, hey, we don't want your game in our store. So, I mean, and if you want to make money for it, SideQuest isn't an option right now because it doesn't have
a monetized store. Yeah.
What do? You just sit on your game, you sit on your concept, and you wait out for some other headset to come out that's got the same free roaming ability, and then just wait to push it on that store?
Well, I mean, you could in essence, I mean, you could use like what are the other sites, like itch.io, places that you can actually sell, and you could just sell the APK, and then you could use SideQuest to load the APK. What's that?
People could, in my mind, people could sell that APK, right? How would you get that APK?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. I
don't
don't
think terms and conditions as a developer, if you're selling things not on their store, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. From a business perspective, I could be wrong. I really just don't know about the legality.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I think that needs to be a discussion point, because I usually have a pretty good answer for most things. I don't have a good answer for that one, especially when there's people that are holding a market that's so huge. I mean, we're constantly talking about how great the Quest is, and we're pushing it, and I love pushing the Quest. I love letting people know about it and showing it to them. But if we're giving everybody this closed Apple iPhone that you can't mod or change and do anything with, and they only control the store, then I don't really feel as good about pushing this device being what it is. The technology I love, but the system itself and how closed it is not something I'm a fan of right now. I don't like the fact that I jump into it and I have such limited experiences available to me, not because the developers, but because of the people that are letting the developers in.
Gatekeepers.
Dude, I feel
make her voice heard.
I mean,
I was gonna say, I feel like
the public in it.
Mr. Zuckerberg, tear down those walls.
Here's a question too, I guess I should ask, is that what do you think, because from their perspective, they want this closed system because they want to be able to control the content. They want to be able to control what people see and not have bad experiences. Do you think that allowing more developers to put their experiences in the store is going to hurt the Oculus Quest sales overall, is going to hurt somehow the credibility of the headset? Or they're just, there has to be a way.
So.
I say just put it in a special section.
That's what ratings are for anyway.
Bring back Oculus Share. I mean, geez,
really, I like that. That's what ratings are for. Yes.
Yeah, that is what ratings are for. But
or even, I do like that. Like if there was like a website where it was like not maybe the official store, but an experimental store, and if it was like popular enough in the experimental store, then those things could go to the.
Yeah, bring back the old. Call it what.
Bring back Oculus Share.
Store. Yeah, the old Oculus Share, like
old Oculus Share.
I'm afraid what's going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to adopt the Oculus Quest as their first and only headset, and then continue in that spectrum. And there's going to be a lot of
developers now that you can do PC connection.
Right, but there's a lot of developers who have made games. Well, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not talking about that, because those are people who already have the powerful PCs and who've invested.
No, I'm saying that's why people will adopt the headset and keep it as their only headset, because now they can do the PC connection.
5 years from now, 6 years from now, if you want to get into VR, would you ever buy a computer with an expensive graphics card and a big MOBO and all this? No, you wouldn't. You would only buy something that has all built in the headset. And I guess what I mean by that, these
buffer on the
whoa.
screen there.
I think we're back now. I went through.
I was going to say, we need to probably start wrapping it up anyway here, guys. We are at the 4 o'clock hour.
I like this conversation, though. I like these
it's good.
Debates. This is the kind of stuff I like a lot. This is interesting.
Miss this.
This is something that needs to get solved. That's
or at least talked about. Like that's that's what this is for, right? A forum where we can kind of just like hash out that stuff, or at least speculate on how it might get solved. So
yeah, and that's what I was thinking of. Eric Hartley put it in concepts, Oculus concepts. They used to have a section of the store where developers could put, you had to kind of check a box that says you understand that this is.
And even like for games in Oculus Home, like let's say a game's been in Oculus and it's sold and it's got great ratings, right? There's lots of games that I feel like I'm not talking about one game. I'm talking about many games out there, because if it's happening for one, it's happening for many. Let's say a game's got great sales in Oculus Store and it's been out and they want to port it to Quest, but they don't allow it, right? So what can this it's not really concept's position, because we already know the concept works. It's just a matter of support, right? I don't really understand why they wouldn't do those things or allow those kinds of things to happen, but it is happening. It absolutely is happening, and it's happening to many developers out there. So something to think about. About. There has to be a solution for these things, because we don't want games to not be seen by the entire new audience of people that are adopting VR, and not only that, but they deserve to see all the games that are being worked on and have had people take the time to port them into the new headsets.
So they need like objective guidelines that are public for how they allow a game in would be ideal. So we can see exactly what and the devs can see exactly what the guidelines are beforehand.
Okay, if they're going to say no to a game that's popular, then they better have a good reason, or have at least a community that says no, we don't want it, as opposed to having thousands on something and then them saying behind closed doors, "No, we're just not going to do it." For God knows who why, who knows why.
Yeah.
I think that just is silly. I mean, I think that there's a lack of VR content out there, especially proven VR content. And then when you find that content that's got the backing behind it, you need to sit there and support it. So otherwise,
and right now we need as much content on Quest as we can. I mean, the system has been out now 5 months, and I don't see the fact that they just opened it up to play the Go titles tells me something. It's like, you need more content. If you're opening up now 3DOF on it, it's like, come on, where is all this other content in the wings?
Right. Well, FX Note says Stadia. That's it, guys. We're moving to Stadia in general. I've got my Chrome Ultra little HDMI thing that I play all the games through that.
Well, if we get there, I mean, that's going to solve a lot of things. I mean, think about it. No more storage requirements for the headsets. No more just a headset that can connect to a super fast 5G network and stream games directly from the cloud. So
it's coming, Don. It's coming. We'll talk about the future of VR more.
Future is now. Future is now.
Next episode, we're gonna have a special guest. We're not going to tell you who yet, but there's a special guest. And we're also going to talk about the future of VR with Don here. Billy is going to do some dances because he has been wanting to show them off, but we didn't have any time today. I told him, you can wear your shirt next time and we'll do the dances, but today we'll be serious. But also, Don, thanks for sticking with us through the rain and the weather storms that are going on.
No, actually, what's nice is I think our podcast killed the weather. So it finally stopped raining. It has been raining here for 2 solid days. My yard is flooded. It's insane. So nice to have a break from it, and especially that gave me the chance to come and hang out with you guys. So
yeah, man.
Right on, man. Right. German Rifter, no, my TEDx Pack Talk is not available yet online. I think it's going to be submitted probably in the next week or two, and then whenever if they decide to put it up, if they don't think it sucks, then they'll put it up. So hopefully in the next month or two, and I'll definitely have a link for that. I'm not allowed to post much video. I think the only video I've ever shown was on the podcast 2 weeks ago, because I'm not allowed to show any more than that. In case.
To hurry up.
Yeah. We'll see. I just hope that there's the whole minute that I totally effed up, and I just hope that they edit it in a way that makes me not look stupid.
Nah, you're all good, dude.
I haven't. Don, really.
Don't worry about that pride. Don't worry about that pride. Yeah, you guys are both wearing fishbowl.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you are tested when I walk around.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sure.
Okay, we gotta go. Let's get out of here. Guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. We appreciate all you guys watching it. Hopefully, if you are here right now in the chat, come back again. We'll be here next Sunday. And if you want to be on the cast, just reach out to us. If you have some interesting stuff to say, then you're probably going to do better than me right now. Anyways, you guys got anything else?
No, we're good, man.
So that was good.
See you
man.
next week. Yeah.
Love you guys. Love.
Love you.
We are love.
And out.